Hello friends, it's Nikki. Thank you first of all for watching. You have reached part 2 of my 2-part real talk about a breast lift without implants, or as the medical term is, mastopexy. If you have reached this video and you have not seen part 1, I will be putting a link in the description box below at the very top. Go into there and watch that video first before watching this. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you liked what you saw here today. And also, if you have any questions about anything that I've discussed today, or you just have questions about something that you have been wondering about, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I will be doing a Q&A in the next few weeks if I get enough questions, and that way I can just give any information that I may have left out in these 2 videos. But for the 3rd time, I think. Thanks again for watching, and here is part 2. Okay, so the day of the surgery. I don't know why I'm getting so kind of like nervous talking about it a little bit, but maybe because it's kind of exciting to talk about and I'm kind of reliving it and can't believe that it happened. But so the day of the surgery came, and so like I said, it was January 8th. I have 2 kids, so me and my husband, we loaded up the 2 kids. We took my oldest to my friend's house who was going to bring her to school. So my youngest and my husband drove me to the surgical center. They did come inside with me to check in. They came with me in the back while I was getting prepped, and then they left and told my husband, obviously, don't forget, don't bring your youngest, but we already had arrangements for her. And they said that they would call him when I was done with surgery and what time to pick me up. So we got to the surgery center at 9:45, which is the time they told me to check in for my 11:15 surgery. The first thing they had me do was take a urine test, and it's a pregnancy test, just to make sure that in between the pre-op appointment and surgery that I didn't accidentally get knocked up. So they do give a urine test, which I appreciate. They had me get into a gown, so they just had me keep my underwear on over my gown, or not over my gown, under my gown, and then they gave me these huge like non-slip surgical type socks, I guess. I still have those socks, and they're the most comfortable things ever. So after that, I go back into the room, the prep room, and they give me my IV. The doctor, or my plastic surgeon, came in. She took the marker, did the marks of where she needed to do the incisions, I assume. She just put a lot of random marks on me. I looked kind of like a Pictionary board. And then the anesthesiologist came. So I got to meet her, and she asked me any questions. She asked me if I had any questions. I don't think I had too many questions for her. She was just really laid back and made me feel just as comfortable as Dr. McCormick. She does work with Dr. McCormick on most of her surgeries, so it was really nice to know that they had a good rapport. But it was nice to meet her beforehand, instead of literally as I'm going, about to go to sleep, I'm seeing her face, and it's the last thing that I see before, I wake up. So about 10:45, they told me, okay, it's time to go to the OR. So that's when my husband and my daughter left. And I walked into the OR, and the team was already, prepped and everything. The room was all clean for me. It was just kind of weird walking in. The last time I was in an OR was when my first daughter was born, and I had a C-section, and I was not walking into the surgical room. I was being wheeled in. And so just really weird to walk on, and then they tell you, just lay down on the bed, and they kind of tell you, obviously, either get a little bit farther back, and the anesthesiologist was right above me, and probably about 10 minutes later, after I got onto the bed, they said, okay, we're going to start giving you your little cocktail to help you go to sleep. And literally, I would say, I know she said, okay, I'm putting it in, and within 10 seconds, I think I was out. Maybe it was, I don't really feel like people remember when how long they're awake during that time. Obviously, you get immediately pretty groggy, and you're probably passed out within nothing. But that's always been the part that scared me the most is, am I actually going to be asleep? What if what if I'm not asleep? Which those things rarely happen, and I had 0 issue. All right, so after I went night-night, The next thing I know is I guess it was probably about 1:45 p.m. I was extremely groggy. I had a nurse that was waking me up just saying, Nikki, Nikki, and she's kind of like just shaking me a little bit on my, rubbing my arms, like, waking me up. And I was in like the post-op center, and I was just on like a regular, gurney. I don't know if it's a gurney, but type bed. She was trying to put a surgical bra on me, and I just remember her kind of saying, "You're all done. You did great. Your husband's going to be here in 10 minutes." And I just remember feeling super heavy. If you've ever had surgery and you've had anesthesia, you know that really groggy feeling. You just feel extremely heavy. So I know that she was trying to put this surgical bra on me. It zips up in front. I still have it. I wear it to bed. But, she's trying to put it on me. And obviously I could tell that she was having a hard time because you're very swollen up here and you're trying to put it on, and they want it as tight as possible, but I wasn't really cooperating with her. I don't think, not intentionally. I think she's probably used to it. She was very kind. But so she put the surgical bra on me, and before I knew it, my husband was there, and he helped me walk and, to help me into the truck. I think I slept the whole entire way back. He brought me into bed, or he brought me into home, helped me up the stairs, got me into bed, and I think I went straight to sleep again. I don't know if I talked about the prescriptions before. I did talk about what they were, but I wanted to let you know I refilled them because when they give you the prescriptions, especially for narcotics, you have to get them filled within, I think, 3 days of the prescription date. So I couldn't wait until like a week before my surgery to go do it. I had to get it done in December. So I already had all the prescriptions at home. I laid them out on my nightstand, so that way I had them readily available. Of course, I did that when my kids were not going to be in my room, so that way they weren't taking narcotics off my table. But I just had everything already ready on my nightstand with, I had a big bottle of water. I had just a lot of my narcotics. I had my reading Kindle. I had my remote. So I was all set up. So when I got home that day, I wasn't in any real pain. I don't even know if I was really sore, a little bit maybe in my back, just from probably trying to keep my balance and things like that. I don't even remember feeling overly swollen. I think the narcotics that they gave me in my IV were still running pretty strong. So I was fairly comfortable. I was just really exhausted. They did tell me to be ahead of my narcotics. So while, like I said, I didn't really have any pain, they did encourage me to take a narcotic about probably 4 hours after I got home. I think I got home probably around 2:45, but I didn't take it until I went to bed, which was probably about 8:45. But like I said, I was still ahead of the pain because I didn't feel any pain. So I did take some Percocet that night. Okay, I know I've had your attention hopefully for a long time, but I want to talk about the post-op. I'm sure that's why most of you guys clicked on here. You guys want to know what the recovery is like. I mean, obviously you want to know about the results, and I will put a before and after photo probably in a few weeks when I go in. I'll tell you why I haven't gone in for my post-op pictures yet, but I'm sure you want to know about the recovery. Okay, so I don't know if I talked about the drain tubes. I don't think I did. So they did have some drain tubes that were kind of outside of my surgical bra. So they were kind of near my armpit, which is kind of annoying, but it's small potatoes. Anyway, the morning after my surgery, my husband did have to drain those out. So that was a lot of fun. It was kind of gross, or actually I'm not too grossed out about it. He didn't act grossed out about it. So we drained those out. We had to record how much was in there before we drained it out. And so when we went to the post-op appointment, the following morning after my surgery, they saw how much had been drained out already. And they said, we think that you can probably get these drainage tubes out now, which was really awesome because I've heard some people have to have them in for like 3 or 4 days. And I was super happy to hear that I wouldn't have to worry about that. They did ask if I had been staying ahead of my narcotics. I believe I did take some, I know I set alarms during the night for my antibiotics, and I believe for my Percocet as well. I think so. So I had been staying on top of it. They checked my incisions. I got to see the girls really for like the first time. And they looked very swollen and very fake, but not in a horrible way. It was kind of cool because I was like, oh my gosh, my boobs have never looked this good. They have never looked this high up in a very long time. Obviously I knew that they weren't going to stay that way forever, but it was pretty cool to see. But I was, you know, there's a lot of, you know, a little bit of bruising. I did have an anchor incision, which I don't know if you know what an anchor incision. So there's different types. There's a lollipop, and then there's, which is around the nipple and then down. That's the lollipop. The anchor is around the nipple, down, and then like across your breast, which is what I had because I had such, you know, large, saggy breasts, to put it bluntly. So I got to see them, and that was really cool. I got to see Dr. McCormick. She was really happy about what she saw. I did ask her because, so I'm gonna get up right here. So right around right here, there were these little X's, black X's, because I hadn't been able to take a shower yet. So I still had these X's that were on my stomach. And I asked Dr. McCormick, I was like, what are these X's? And she said, those were where your nipples were when the day before your surgery while you were sitting down. So and I could not believe it, because when you saw me without a bra on then, I mean, with those X's right there, it was unbelievable, guys, how much of a difference. If I have a picture, I will include it in my next breast lift video where I show before and after photos and possibly a Q&A. But it was kind of eye-opening. And at that point, I knew I had zero regret. I was already so happy with the results. I could have almost been in tears because I knew this was something, again, that I couldn't do myself, that I did pay to have fixed for me, but it was worth every penny. My only regret, which actually I'll save my one regret for the very end of this video. So basically the next couple of days, I just had to stay on top of the pain medication and the antibiotics. So on day 2 post-op, so I had my surgery on Wednesday. On Friday, I woke up with a really bad headache. And I thought it might have been the way that I had to sleep, because you do have to sleep, you know, propped up and making sure you're not, you know, going on your side and smushing things. It would kind of hurt. So I thought it was just, you know, from me sleeping weird or either maybe not sleeping well, but my head would not stop hurting. It was all day long. It was a pretty significant headache, almost to a migraine type. And then towards the end of the night, I started feeling kind of shivery and feverish. And the first thing that came into my head was, oh gosh, I hope I'm not getting an infection because it's Friday night. So I do have a cousin that is a physician's assistant. So I was kind of texting her being like, okay, I check my temperature. It's like right at 100.0, which is high for me. I usually run like around like 97.0. So that was high for me. I was like, do you think I'm having an infection? She asked about, you know, some of the area. I had my husband, you know, look with me. It didn't look to be infected. It wasn't hot or anything like that. But she was like, you know, I don't think that it is. I think it might be the narcotics, but go ahead and call your plastic surgeon. And they did tell me I could call the office at any time with any sort of emergencies. And I felt like this could be an emergency if there is an infection. So I did call. I felt really bad because I could tell that either she was at a movie theater or she was somewhere, because she was kind of whispering, but she did answer my call. She told me it's most likely the Percocets. She said, stop taking the Percocets if you're not in severe pain. And she said, go and take Tylenol. And the headache was gone. I was able to go to sleep and I never had a headache again. And I stayed with Tylenol probably the first like week, and then I switched over to ibuprofen. So I stayed in bed for about 3.5 days. I want to say, so obviously Friday was like a half day in bed, not even a half day. So Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday, Sunday, I want to say, Saturday evening I started coming out a lot. And then Sunday I was out of bed probably 75% of the day. So I was able to just, you know, do some light things around the house, cooking a little bit, doing dishes, things that didn't take a lot of effort and energy. I will say I still didn't have any real significant pain. Occasionally I would have little shooting pains that would just happen very randomly and sporadically, but mainly most of my discomfort came from the swelling and the bra, because they want that bra to be tight and super supportive, like, and pretty much flattening your chest. And that part was the most annoying, was just the swelling and the fact that I could not take off that bra. So once I was out of bed and doing things, I think at day 5, my husband left for a work trip with my blessing, but I was able to do mostly everything. Like I would get my kids ready for school. I couldn't lift any higher, like my elbows. I don't know if you can see me, but my elbows would have to stay pretty much breast level. I was bringing my kids to school. Like I said, I was doing some light housework around the house. Obviously I wasn't, mopping the floors or, doing like a lot of laundry. A lot of my laundry, it was mainly, I couldn't lift like the laundry basket. So sometimes I would just take a few pieces of clothing and put it over my stairwell and then pick it up downstairs and carry it into the laundry room. So a lot of modified stuff, but I was able to get back into life pretty quickly. If you think about it, it's a pretty significant surgery. And I would say by day 5, I was doing things on my own. I was basically being a single parent by myself. So like I was talking about not raising my arms, I probably wasn't able to really raise my arms until I would say it was definitely after a week. I would be able to do a little bit more. It was probably about 2 weeks until I was able to get like full range like this without it feeling like I was stretching or possibly pulling a stitch, because that's what you don't want. You don't want to pull a stitch. You don't want to rip an incision. So you just have to be really careful about how you move your arms. So at my 2-week post-op, basically it was just making sure that the stitches had all dissolved. If they weren't, just for me to, not for me, but they did it for me. They got rid of the other stitches that just were a little bit stubborn and coming out. They gave me some surgical tape to tape over my breast for the next week or 2. And that was pretty much it for my 2-week appointment. I was very exhausted and I was kind of a little bit, I don't want to say depressed, but I definitely had a little bit of blues, and it was due to the exhaustion. I've always been, with my husband traveling a lot, I'm the one that does everything. I'm very much of a doer. I'm a productive person. I'm a planner, and everything that I did, even in little significance, just getting my kids ready for school and taking them to school. When I would come home, I'd have no kids, but I would be exhausted. Folding clothes, I would be so tired. And it was like that for a couple of weeks. And you do have to build that up. But I will say that was like the emotional, surprising toll that it took on me, but it was short-lived. So at 3 weeks, I was finally able to go to the gym. Just very light workouts, they said. I was somebody that was going to the gym almost every day and doing significant cardio work, but I was just doing literally like a 3.0 on the treadmill walking. I could have done that at home, but there's something about being back in a routine that I really liked. So went back to the gym, had to wear that surgical, super tight, supportive bra, but I was able to get back into the gym. I did have a 1-month post-op appointment. They checked, to see if I needed tapes. They didn't think so. They told me that I did not have to wear the bra. Actually, no. They told me I needed to wear the surgical bra for 2 more weeks, so I had to wear it for 6 weeks total. And then they said at that point I could wear underwire regular, like supportive regular underwire wireless bras. Gosh, can I get it straight? So a lot of sports bras, things like that. And at 6 weeks, I feel like that was the sweet spot. That was where I was getting, I would say, probably 100% of my energy was coming back. I was able to do a lot more workouts, so I was increasing my endurance little by little. Probably by 6 weeks, I started taking it from light to moderate. So, and probably I would say, gosh, at probably maybe like the 9 to 10 week mark, I was back to doing the things that I was doing all the time. I usually take my kids to a trampoline park, and I wouldn't say at 8 weeks I was jumping. It was probably, I would say about week 10, 11, I was back to jumping on trampolines with my kids. So basically that is my story from the time that I decided to do it until about, 10 to 12 weeks after the surgery. I was supposed to have a 3-month post-op appointment, but COVID came around. So when that happened, my appointment was canceled. I was supposed to actually have pictures before and after. So I'm not able to get I still haven't gotten my pictures, and we are towards the end of June. I am scheduled for July 14th to get those pictures finally. So I will share those with you. It's almost funny because I wish I kind of have had pictures of what they looked like with, you know, no clothes on before the surgery, just so I had something to compare it to now. Am I happy that I did the surgery? I think you know this, and I think I said it before. Yes, I am so happy. I did mention I had one regret. So here's my one regret. My one regret is that I didn't do the tummy tuck with the surgery. Not that I am not working my butt off to try to work that area. I have a feeling that it's just, you know, when you have kids, it's never, but it's not bothering me as much. But it would have been nice, just because she did such an amazing job with my breast, if I could have just gotten my stomach done too, and I would have been like 100% like stoked, thrilled. I would have felt like all my problem areas were pretty much done. But I mean, sometimes as women, we do critique ourselves a little bit. But will I get a tummy tuck? Probably not. I don't know. I still teeter on it. It's almost like when you get a tattoo, you want another tattoo and you keep thinking about it and thinking about it. So that's where I've been with the tummy tuck. But that is my one regret, is that I did not get it done with my breast lift. In terms of scarring, I do still have some scarring, but it is fading little by little. In fact, I was just noticing the other day, because I still put scar cream on my incisions after shower, that they have actually really decreased these last few weeks in terms of the scarring underneath. So like I said, the anchor, so it goes like this, down and then around. This part, the anchor part, is definitely, the scarring is much more noticeable, which not noticeable like if you're looking at me dead on, because obviously your breast covers that part. But if you lift up, you'll see that it's definitely a lot more, it looks, I don't want to say it looks fresh, but it's definitely has not faded anywhere close to where like my nipples and the line down. Another added bonus is that I look and I feel thinner. Everyone, I mean, like I said, I haven't really been like a closed book with my breast lift. It's not like I wear a shirt that says, hey guys, I just got my boobs done. but you know, my friends knew, but you know, people would say, they're like, you look thinner, like we can see your waist, you're losing weight. And I hadn't lost any significant weight. In fact, I actually gained a little bit of weight just from being so exhausted and being kind of, you know, sad that I wasn't being productive. So I'm eating like crap. But, you know, I looked and I felt so much better. Like just looking in the mirror, wearing things like I was wearing a medium, and this is a medium. So it's, you know, this is pre-surgery. A lot of my clothes are too big on me. And like I said, I wasn't losing weight. It is just that they fit differently, because, you know, my breasts almost aren't into my stomach area. They're up here, and everything just, it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but it's so confidence feeling, and maybe it shouldn't be, but I'm just gonna be real. It is when you're able to get a size down and you're able to fit clothes better. Things look better on you, you know what I mean? And therefore you feel better. And I think the thing that is the most rewarding is the fact that I did this for me. So I did this just for me. I didn't do it for my husband. I didn't do it for my friends. I didn't do it to really look good to anyone else at the beach other than myself. I would say maybe I did a little bit for my kids, because I feel like if mom's happy with herself, they can be happy. Although it is a little bit of a weird thing, you know, like, am I gonna encourage my kids to do something like that? Because you always wanna say, be happy with your body. And let me tell you, I am happy with my body. Like having this done, of course I'm always working to improve, but I mean, you can't have a better gift for yourself than the gift of feeling good and feeling confident. And I'm not saying that a breast lift is something that everybody should do or anything like that. It is definitely a personal preference. Obviously, if you can afford it, or if this is something you even want. But for me, it was something that I actually felt like I needed and I wanted, and I was able to get done, and I have zero regret except for that tummy tuck. All right, well, if you have stuck with me for this long, thank you. I have a feeling this video is gonna probably run, gosh, probably about like 40 minutes or more. I might need to break it up. If I don't and you lasted through this, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I hope that if you did like the video, that you will like it with that little like button, and then subscribe, and I hope that I will see you again next time. If you have any questions for me regarding my breast lift, or if you have just any questions about the process in general, please leave a comment down below, and I will be happy to do a Q&A in about a month or so, just to touch on some of the, either frequently asked questions that I had that were given, or things like that. So if you do leave a comment down below with a question, just know that I might not answer it there, or I might just give a very little bit of detail and then go into more in-depth at the Q&A. Okay, well, I've talked your ear off enough. Thanks again for joining me, and I will talk to you again next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.